There he is.
Yo.
My man, good morning.
Good morning. Hang on, my earphones aren't working. Let's not do what we did last week and just utterly fuck up.
When you just had all your technology issues. It's getting tiring for me to always show up, to always have everything perfect, and wait for you, honestly.
Andy, how are you doing?
Look at this, James. Look at the quality of this coffee.
That looks like a Saturday morning coffee. Very nice. Very fancy.
Do you know what? I got this Rocket coffee machine about a month ago, and I'm refining my skills on it. It's been a revelation to me.
So, are we talking an espresso? You drop in a capsule, hit a button, and you're good to go.
No, James, no. We are not talking about a capsule. Have you sort of embraced the whole, I just go to Starbucks, get it? What are you drinking? Is that like a bucket of coffee?
I'm sorry.
Like we set this up. What is that? Some
what were you
sort
saying
of
about
iced
Starbucks?
coffee, or is that Coca-Cola in a Starbucks big gulp cup?
I don't know, but I tell you what I'm going to have to do. That's worth a screenshot right there. This is what you're saying about Starbucks. I like Starbucks.
Let's talk about the other elephant in the room. How are you going? How are you going with puberty? Because it looks like some kind of zit runaway. What's?
Oh my god, dude! This week, I need therapy. You know, I mean this week has been tough.
I've had a lot of DMs telling me you need therapy.
But on the personal front this week, I'm having a really tough time with my middle child, Adam, who's coming up 4. He's very emotional at the moment, very up and down. One minute he's like, have you ever owned cats? You know, like sometimes they just like sit on your lap and they're perfectly happy, and then all of a sudden, for no reason, they just turn around and like try and tear your face off. Well, that's kind of like my 4-year-old at the moment. So I've got claw marks, literally claw marks on my cheek, on my head, and I've got a massive one like behind my ear, which stings like a bastard. It's so bad. So I'm failing miserably at parenting this week. It's just I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Look, happy to help wherever I can. Just like a jumping off point here. I think if you're trying to lock him under the stairs, that's a mistake, and you know he's got a right to fight back.
Hey, do you know what his favorite cartoon is at the moment? Bluey. It's like a cartoon, sort of like it's almost like Simpsons, but instead of humans, it's dogs. It's set in Australia. Everyone has got like comedy Australia accents. I'm like, that's my mate Andy.
This is brilliant. We've talked puberty, we've talked child rearing, we've talked dog cartoons. Shall we roll the intro?
Let's do it.
Welcome to Curb and Canyon.
So, Curb and Canyon, back for another episode. Andy, I'll be honest with you. It's been one of those weeks where I don't even know what day it is. So I actually have no idea what we're going to be talking about today. In fact, it's a miracle that you and I are even talking to each other, considering this is like our 3rd attempt this week.
Yeah, it's one of the joys of running a podcast from opposite sides of the globe is dealing with both the time differences, which are obvious. It's Friday afternoon there, your time, Saturday morning, my time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the realities of life, you know, kids, work, all that other stuff. Squeezing in this pod once a week is at times a little tricky, isn't it?
I know. It's a little tricky. We need to get a few in the old in the backlog, you know, so that we can work through them. But yeah, what are we talking about today? What's going on in the Porsche world?
Look, plenty. We're going to talk about our own stuff, some update on cars. I know there's plenty of news with you and your car. We've got some stuff around forgotten Porsches. We're going to get into that. But I think we should start by acknowledging the passing at the beginning of the great Vic Elford, who passed away this week. Really, really sad loss to the Porsche world. For those of you who don't know, and I'm sure most of you are fans or at least know a little bit about him, he raced so many categories for Porsche, including endurance. He raced rally. He even raced Formula One. And his history with the brand goes back a long way. He was European Rally Champion in 1967 in a Works 911, which is super cool.
Yeah.
In 68, he won the Rally of Monte Carlo, again in a 911, and then has this a week later, goes and races the 24 Hours of Daytona in a Porsche 907, which he won.
No way.
And that, yeah. And that was actually their first ever win in a 24-hour race, Porsche's first win. He won the 12 Hours of Sebring in 71 in the legendary 917K. He's got lap records at like Targa Florio, Nürburgring, Daytona, Sebring, Monza, Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, Le Mans. Like,
wow.
Just dead set, absolute racing legend. And it was interesting looking into his story a little bit for this. And there was this story that I'm sure fans of him would no doubt be aware of. But in the 72 24 Hours of Le Mans, he stopped because he saw this burning wreck Ferrari in front of him, and he leapt out to render assistance to the driver, only to discover that the driver had actually already managed to exit the vehicle. But he then saw a wrecked Lola in the trees off the side of the track. Tried to help that driver, who unfortunately had tragically been passed away. Joe Bonnier was his name. But cameras filmed it, and so he was named, I don't know if I get this right, a Chevalier of the National Order of Merit by the French president.
Wow.
Like, just for this incredible act of sportsmanship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, by all accounts, obviously an incredible racer, but by all accounts, a true gentleman and a great guy. And he passed away the 13th of March, aged 86. What a great champion.
Could you imagine like a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Wayne Rooney type pulling over to help someone in the opposition that may have gone off the sideline and broken their leg? No.
There's gotta be something significant in a motorsport setting for a driver to actually take that step of saying, do you know what? The most important thing for me right now is to stop my car.
Yeah.
And assist one of my colleagues. And, there's the footage of Niki Lauda in his horrific crash at the Nürburgring, drivers rushing to help him. But, last year at Monza, when Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton came together and Verstappen's car kind of landed on Lewis's head, Max just said something like, yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't leave enough room, and walked past and didn't even check to see if Lewis was alive. Not quite the gentleman races they were back in the day.
I guess not. They say the world. What's happening to the world?
100%. But it's funny, isn't it? Because there's all these, Porsche has this incredible history of great drivers back in that era of 60s, 70s, 80s. But of course, all these guys are, they're up there in age now. And they're certainly the older gents of the sport.
Yeah. Well, I was watching a YouTube video this morning taking Porsche racing into the the mid 21st century with the all-electric sort of Taycan-looking GT2 RS race car. What is it? 1,100 brake horsepower. It sounded like, I don't know what it sounded like, a hairdryer. Didn't sound great, to be honest with you, but it got off the line so quickly, like unbelievably quickly. I feel like we're on the brink of going into this new generation of Porsche cars and Porsche racing and Porsche style. I think, you look back over the past 10, 15 years and the design of the cars has actually sort of become quite progressive in many ways. Even though they're still trying to maintain the links back to the past, and that 50-year anniversary style email was sent out yesterday with, get yourself a watch and a jacket to match your 50-year-old Porsche, what have you. But yeah, I feel like we're on the brink of something completely new now. And it's a shame that some of these icons from the golden age of Porsche, aren't really going to be there to see it necessarily.
No, that's true. That's true. But you know what? A lot of them are still there and still kicking and still quick from what I hear too. Some of these guys, they still get out at these historic meets, whether it's, Goodwood or in the States there, and they can still pedal a damn car.
So I've thought about that. Like, am I going to get to an age where, I'm maybe not driving as aggressively as I used to, and it's obviously a different story on residential roads and the highway compared to being on the track. But I remember as a kid watching some of my favorite golfers go from the PGA to the senior PGA, and their swing wasn't quite as good, and you could tell the old hip was given out here or there, and yeah. They could probably hit a good shot off the tee, but could they make that delicate little chip out of the sand trap, the bunker? No, and it was a little sad to see. Do you think that equates? Does that translate into the racing world? Because do you think some of these guys in their 60s and 70s can still put some amazing times up there on the board? I bet they can.
Well, oh yeah, and first of all, let me just say that I think, in terms of you, and you've wondered about that with your driving, you can't drive any slower than you do. So I don't think that's something you need to worry about at all. So
start reversing.
Just relax on that. That's covered. But look, I think what happens is, sure, reflexes perhaps become slightly dulled, and the sense of maybe aggression and invincibility that one has when they're young, perhaps dulls a little bit as well. As we age up, we become obviously far more aware of our mortality. But my dad raced sort of amateur racing when I was younger, and a lot of the guys he was racing against were older guys, like genuinely older blokes. And dude, these guys, when they were on the track, when they put the helmet on, when the visor came down, you watch them and they were on it. Like 10 tenths, aggressive, late braking into corners for overtaking. And I guess it's all relative, right? Because you're not looking at the sort of human, the physicality aspect of it, like you do an athlete in a sport who's outside of a car. Boy, these guys were absolutely on it, and you see it at Goodwood all the time as well. So, no, I think they can. I think there's still plenty of speed there. Yeah, absolutely, there is.
So you think I'm a slow driver? Let's just go back to that. It's like I say, Andy. It's been a long week, and that was a low blow.
Do you think it was a low blow? You see, and this is, again, let me give you the glass half full version of that. You're just a little bit responsible. You got a family to ensure you're there for, and all the rest of it.
Hey, so this week I think it's been a challenge for you as well. I've saw several previews of a certain video that's about to drop. In fact, maybe it will have dropped by the time this pod gets released, but it looks like you've been I don't know, I don't want to say pulling your hair out, but man, that looked like a pretty complicated cut.
So every time we do the Alpine Range Rally, I make a video, obviously, and I think I've said before, I kind of cut this video for my friends who are on the rally, so it's perhaps a little longer than what I would typically do, but I want to make sure everyone gets in it and all that sort of stuff. And then we have my good buddy Erwin has the most incredible garage / home theater / home bar setup that you have ever seen.
Oh, really?
It is, it's incredible. And Erwin's such a great guy. He opens his place up to us all to go around there and have a kind of a launch night with the video. And so he messaged me after the rally and said, hey, do we want to do that? And I said, yeah, that'd be great, Erwin, thanks. And so we agreed to do it on Thursday night. And I just put myself under some reasonably significant time pressure to get it finished. So I was working on it till 1 a.m. on Tuesday night, and then about the same on Wednesday night. And then Thursday night comes, and literally at about 6 o'clock, I decided it was too long and I needed to trim it.
Oh no.
So I'm sitting there everyone's at Irwin's house, and I was at my desk waiting for this thing to export and then trying to get it uploaded to YouTube and waiting for it to process. And so, yeah, it was funny. But, I always watch these videos when I make them and feel like it's the same as every other video I've made. But the one thing I'll say about this vid, and it drops, I guess tomorrow, is the sense we were just talking about slow driving. Somehow I think I've managed to capture the sense of speed with this one.
Okay.
And I don't think it's not like anyone was driving any quicker than they usually do. Look, partly because it was dry. Everyone drives a bit faster in the dry, obviously. But yeah, dude, some of the footage of these cars, the way they can crank around a turn at pace is brilliant. So yeah, I can't wait to drop this one. And yeah, there were a lot of effects layers, a lot of grade layers, and yeah. Hence why it took so long to export. My poor little MacBook Pro was struggling a little bit to export the damn thing at 1.5 gig.
No, I think people are going to really enjoy that one.
Yeah, I hope so. Hey, and let's because big weeks. You've had a big week. I've seen footage of your car with no engine in it. I've seen footage of engines. It looks like there's a lot going on, actually, right?
There is. And so right now it's 4:30 p.m. on Friday afternoon, and Porsche Minneapolis is open. I think the service department's open till 6. I haven't yet received the text from John, the service manager, to say that it's ready to go. And at this stage, I'm thinking it's going to be Monday, and it's going to absolutely crush me because I thought the job was only going to take 2 or 3 days, and they needed to overnight some parts from the East Coast. And good old FedEx took their jolly sweet time getting it over to Minnesota. So those parts didn't arrive till this morning. But yeah, it's been amazing. I had a tow company come pick the car up on Monday morning with no seats in it. I had to quickly put the steering wheel back in that I got back from this company, which that's a whole other conversation. I'll probably save that for the video because I'm fuming really about the whole seat scenario. But the car got picked up Monday. They started working on it. I went down Monday afternoon, and it's just amazing how quickly they can take out the tranny and the engine. I mean, Steve, Pat, and I spent the best part of, I guess, 2 Fridays just trying to drop the transmission on my little stand. They got that thing out. The guy working by himself on his own must have taken it out in like less than an hour. Just by the time the car had been delivered and I'd finished a call and got in the truck and drove to Porsche Minneapolis, it was out. It was just sat there. It was incredible.
That's amazing.
Just absolutely amazing. But you know what's really weird is with the engine out of the car, the suspension at the back lifts up. So, it's
of course it does.
It's weighted, of course, to have this big, massive, heavy engine in the back. So the car's actually leaning forward, and at the front, it looks fantastic. It almost looks lowered, even though it isn't. And it's just because the perspective and how the back is reared up a little bit. So, of course, what am I doing? I'm thinking, well, all right, I'm going to get the car. I'm going to drive it. Ooh, suspension, coilovers. What am I doing next? I'm already adding to my list.
Yes. Time for some KWs for sure.
But I don't have the car back yet, and it's probably going to be Monday at this point. They think, actually, though, so those who've been following along probably know already that I'm on my 3rd transmission. The first one that came with the car was already broken. I replaced it with Pat and Steve. That one broke, and so now we're on number 3. We thought it was an engine.
Is this just because you drive? You're so fast. You are you drive hard, fast, aggressive. Well, you're tough on trannies.
It's a 2-gear car, isn't it? You go to first, you go to second, and you just floor it.
Yes, perfect.
And when the engine gets too loud, you just turn the radio up so you don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But we thought it was an engine alignment issue with the IMS bearing that had been done by the previous owner. They think that when the clutch was changed whoever changed it didn't put the right parts in. And so the flywheel is incorrect and actually putting out too much momentum or too much force, and it's actually sort of like pulling the transmission away from the engine because it's just like the wrong parts.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Well, what I was expecting a job to cost me $3,000 is now probably could cost me $7,000 or $8,000 because I've got to replace the flywheel and the clutch joint and the bearing and the clutch itself and the cables. Like, it's basically just all going to be brand new, which is good, but
my goodness, though, yeah, as you say, with so much of it being fundamentally brand new, the car's going to feel, fingers crossed, it's going to feel incredible when it's done, right?
I know, and I absolutely cannot wait to get out on the road. I thought tomorrow morning maybe I'd be able to, but I don't know. We'll see. There's still 90 minutes left, and if I disappear all of a sudden, you know why. It's because Porsche Minneapolis are calling me, and I'd rather be talking to them than you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Do you know, I got to say, though, you saying, you're hoping to get this call this afternoon to say the car's ready to go, that, you good with the big gulp there?
Oh, it's awesome. It's very good, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll keep going. You haven't got like some Reese's peanut butter cups you want to chew on in the mic or anything? Sorry, it's Friday afternoon and I'm busting in shops. It's not fair, is it? It's been a tough week. There it is.
You keep talking, I'll keep drinking.
Okay. What was I saying? That's right. So the idea that you're potentially going to pick the car up tonight, that blows my mind. That ultimately it only takes a week in at the dealership to have all of that work done.
Yeah.
For them to do whatever on-road testing they need to do. Because I assume if the intention was that they look to call you today, that means they've already been out driving the car. It's got to have had some road testing. So, gee, they must work really quick.
Yeah, it's incredible how quickly they work. When I was there watching them take the car apart, when I was in getting those two screws fixed, for the hood, they had to take the fenders off and the hood and the bumper and all of the stuff around it, and they managed to take that off in like 2 or 3 hours. I would have been there for a week, ultimately getting out my knife, trying to stab my way into it because I just wouldn't be able to figure out how to do it.
It is funny, isn't it, when you take on those jobs at home, how you will set aside the entire weekend and you still won't get it done. It rolls over into the next week, and it's just this long process, which obviously is not helped by the fact that you're faffing around setting up a camera half the time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I can't do those videos you do. Like every time I try and do hey, I'm doing some work on my car video, I just go, man, this makes a hard job so much harder.
Yeah,
because you're faffing around with cameras and stuff. Exactly. So I don't know how you do it. But even still, the pace that we're able to work on our own cars versus what these guys can do, the training, the equipment, all that stuff that they've got at hand to be able to do that, it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. Even like an oil change, I've probably done a dozen oil changes now on a bunch of different 911s, and it still takes me at least 30% more, longer than it does for the folks at the garage. It's it's awesome.
So where are we in terms of our countdown clock to your great Rocky Mountains run?
You know what? I'm not sure. It's probably about 8 weeks away.
Okay, so you got time. You got time for shakedown.
Yeah, I think so. We're at the end of middle of March now. So let's say worst case, I get it back the end of March. End of May is our trip. So yeah, I've got a good month or so to get out on the road, get it dialed in, to use an obsessed garage term, I guess. Yeah.
But that's it, right? Because it is you need to put some miles on it to. What's that thing? It's like, I've heard Spike Ferriston talk about it and Matt Farah as well. It's like 10 miles, 100 miles, and 1,000 miles. That's the kind of increments at which you see what the issues are to be resolved.
Right.
you'd want to at least be up to that 100 miles part before you can go and take on the Rocky Mountains.
Well, I think so, because that will be like a 4,000 mile round trip. So I'm going to find out if it's working or not. Now, the end of next week, I'm going to Kansas City for a couple of days, which is about 8 hours south of here. And right now the snow's melted. It looks like it's about to be spring. So I was thinking maybe that might be a good trial run.
I think that's a great way to do it, because you can just bomb down the freeway or the highway or interstate or whatever it is, and put some miles on the car. I think that's really sensible.
Yeah, we'll see. But, what's really exciting is I'm thinking about, I'm going to get this back. I'm going to drive it for a bit. I'm going to do the Rocky Mountains tour. But what next? Do I just sit down and enjoy driving it for the next 6 months or a year? I don't know if I can do that. I'm just thinking, is it time for my next project?
I think you gotta experience it a little bit, and obviously the Rockies run is going to let you do that, but I would have thought you'd want to enjoy a summer with it, do your Porsches and pancakes and all that sort of stuff. It's a cool looking car, that great blue paintwork, and these 996s are a cracking car to drive. I'd say have some fun with it, and then work out what you're going to do.
Yeah. We'll see.
Is there anything kind of orbiting in terms of potential future either projects or cars that are in your consideration set?
Well, actually, yeah, there is. So I without going through all of the backstory, basically my lovely wife Ruthie has turned around and said, if I lose 100 pounds, I can get my Porsche dream car. And so that's game on. Now, when she told me that, I think in her head, that was like a 3-year plan, maybe a 2 or 3 year plan. And she would just calm it down for a couple of years to get the kids out into kindergarten. I told her I'm going to do it in 6 months. And so I'm going to buy my dream Porsche, or a dream, a nice new Porsche by the time my birthday rolls around in October. So it's game on. I've got to get my fat ass on the treadmill and, cut out the chocolate and all that good stuff. But dude, don't really want to talk about this, but I was in great shape up until my kids arrived. And then for the past 4.5 years, I've just been stress eating my way through life.
Kids will do that, mate. Kids will do that. I can relate.
And oh god, I'm just I'm miserable in many ways at the moment, and I think I've been miserable for a couple of years now, which is why Ruthie's, she's tried the carrot, she's tried the stick, and now she's trying the Porsche shaped carrot. So
that's a good carrot. Are there sort of parameters around this? Is it if I lose 100, then it's game on? I can buy a Carrera GT or whatever, or and then are they kind of, listen, if you only get 50 pounds, you can get a 992 GTS. Where's it? Are there increments? How's this work?
If I lose 50 pounds, she'll probably buy me a beaten up Boxster and just tell me to get on with it. She wants me to lose 100, and I think that's fair. I think I could probably even lose more than that, but we'll see. I translated what she told me into being, for every pound I lose, I can spend $1,000 on a car. So if I lose 100 pounds, I can go up to 100,000. If I lose 150 pounds, I can do. I might die, but at least on my way out.
You have to go on a hunger strike just so you can get a GT2 RS.
But, if I lost 150 pounds on my way out, my decline out of this world, I could be driving.
It'd be a good time.
Yeah, $150,000 Porsche. So that's not going to happen. But yeah, I'm sort of setting my sights around 6 figures, and it could be below that, could be above that. But the market's crazy, isn't it? What's 100,000 get you in US? Is that like 991 GT3 Touring? I don't know what values are like over there. So 100,000 US right now would get you a
A blue 996. Okay.
I'll give myself the money. No, I think 100 grand right now in the US would get me a first generation 997 turbo. It would get me a second generation 997 GTS if I was lucky.
Yeah.
I might be able to get a basic Carrera 991.2, which I could then tune and do up. But it's that kind of world. It's not going to really get me into it's not going to get me into my 991 GTS. It's not going to get me into a GT3. Yeah. I think the cheapest GT3 I've seen is 115,000 US, and that's a 991.1 with about 50,000 miles on it. And it's a smash salvage. The insurance company wrote it off. It's been rebuilt, and they're now selling it on. So I think if I want a GT3 or a turbo, which I've been looking into more and more, I think I need to be losing about 150 pounds. But all this aside, apparently that wasn't the deal that Ruthie struck with me. She just assumed that I might buy myself another, base.
You've made some assumptions by the things.
Yeah. But, she doesn't need to know, and I don't need to worry about that right now. Let's lose the weight, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to get. But I want to, the one thing I've said to myself is I want to get something that I haven't had before. So it won't be a 996 or a 997, and it won't be a first generation 991. It'll be something else.
Wow. Interesting. Definitely water cooled?
No, not definitely.
Okay.
So I'm quite tempted to go air cooled if, like Darren Pfister can follow through and make me a Winnebago sized 993. I just need to.
I was going to say I could totally see a 993 for you. I could absolutely see that.
Oh, I'd love it. In fact, there was a 993 turbo with its engine out alongside mine in Porsche Minneapolis this week, and I just wanted to kneel next to it and lick the fenders and kiss the handles. It just was beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah. You're not going to lose 100 pounds eating turbos, mate. There's your first problem. You got to stop licking cars.
Yeah, I know. So moving on, have we got our video of the week?
Video of the week, yeah. Do you know what? It just seemed appropriate this week to honour the great Vic Elford. There's this fantastic video that came out a few years back of him driving a beautiful early 911 right by Pebble Beach. It was up there during an event, and he's talking about the balance of the car. It's just a great video. So yeah, we'll post the link on Instagram. It had to be Vic Elford this week. Yeah. And you know what? It was great actually looking for videos of him, of Quick Vic as he was known. There's a lot of great videos of him with Steve McQueen, all sorts of cool stuff. But I particularly like this one. Hey, talking about cars in orbit and stuff like that, we were going to chat quickly about forgotten Porsches.
Yeah.
And so, and it's funny because you just mentioned one. You know how we've all got that one unicorn car, right? And like we've asked people before, like, what's if you could have the one, what is it? And you know, it might be a Carrera GT, or for some it might be a 964 RS or the Bad Boys Turbo or whatever the case may be. But there's, because of the breadth of the brand and the models and the special models that they've had over the years, I feel like there's, in that conversation, it's always later when you think to yourself, actually also there's blah, there's that other one and so I wanted to talk about that. Have you got those cars that sit just below what the ultimate is to you, and actually when you think about it, any one of them would be a kind of a holy shit car for you?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't think I know enough about all of the submodels and the variants to really get too excited about them. But this is maybe a little sad, but I watched your Monday Night Lights video recently.
Yeah.
And when the headlights popped up on that 944, was it the 944?
928.
928. Yeah, the 928.
Yeah.
it set me back to the 80s when that was the car I wanted. That actually took over the 911 for me when I was like 10 years old, just for maybe it was a few minutes. It felt like a few years, but there was just something about those headlights popping up and the shape of that car. I think that was fantastic. And you caught that car's like spirit just perfectly in that split second that those lights popped up in your video. Everything about it was perfect. And I was like, there it is. There it is. It's like seeing an old girlfriend or an old school crush. It just, I think actually something like that.
Do you know, it's funny that car kind of set everybody's pulses racing that night. And, you know, we've Lucas, who owns that car, he actually has quite a few cars, and they're all killer cars. But because we mostly see them on a Sunday morning drive, you're typically either seeing them in the bright sunshine or the miserable pouring rain. And to see it, you know, against a cityscape under lights, everyone had the exact same reaction to that car that night of just, oh wow, this is such a cool car. So yeah, I can completely see that.
How about you?
Yeah, it's interesting for me. Well, you just mentioned it actually. The 993 Turbo. I think that as an air-cooled car for the kind of driving I like to do, I think that would just be this incredible intersection of old, you know, it's the most advanced air-cooled 911 there was.
Yeah.
You know, and when you hear or read about that car even today, they will, you know, journalists or whoever's driving it will say that it will keep up with any modern Porsche. It has this ability to do that. The performance is still genuinely quick by today's standards.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that is a car that I would just love to have a go in, and can imagine that for a Sunday morning drive belting through the hills. I just think that car would have so much to offer. And then, do you know, the other one...
But wait, just hold on. Is that really a forgotten Porsche, though? You know,
no, of course not. Of course not.
Okay.
And I suppose it's more that thing of the ones you forget about yourself.
Oh, I see.
Because of course, if you talk amongst friends or whatever, there'll invariably be someone who would say the 993 Turbo. But for me, I've got all these others that I'm just constantly dreaming of in my dream garage or my lotto jackpot garage. And that might be one that I forget about. And probably the other one that I always forget is the roof FCR, like SCR. We kind of talk about Singer all the time, right? The reimagined 911, but roof are like the original reimaginers, if that's a word, of the 911. And that car, it has, you know, basically a 964 silhouette. Like, I think it's 400 and something horsepower. Like, far out. Imagine having a belt around in one of those.
Yeah. You know, that red one that I saw at Luft this year it was incredible. Absolutely just like took your breath away to stand next to it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't know. Who cares? We're not getting any of them, right? If I can just get the Motec perfectly tuned on my 964 and stop the ABS light from coming on, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah. So then, to round up, let's talk about future. Let's talk about future videos and future pods. What have you got coming up then on the slate for your videos?
Plenty. I've got, so this weekend, the Alpine Range Rally 7 video will drop. In 2 weeks, I've got a video dropping with reviewing my friend's 997.2 second gen 997.
Yeah.
Which I love this car. And then coming after that, I have my review on the 930, which I can't wait for.
Well, can you prioritize that? Like, since you told me about some of these videos, like I want to see them all, but I really want to see that one. Like, really want to see that one.
Well, the best thing is the owner of that car, my buddy Steve, he really wants it too. He's messaging me going, hey, do you want to pick the car up sooner? Like, just come and get it any time. So, yeah, I think he's really excited for it. I got to think about a concept for the sort of the beauty sequence because I want to do justice to that car. But I can't wait for that. What about you?
Well, hopefully drawing Project 996 to a close. That's going to be at least one video. I've got a couple of ideas for how I want to sort of, do the reveal, even though people have seen it and it's been on the road now. So definitely that. And then I'm actually going to be doing a couple of videos in the studio, if you will, my family room, or the garage, actually talking about the next chapter of videos, which is actually getting to a position where I'm able to buy my dream car. And we're going to talk about what that might be and looking at it and what the market's like. So not really any driving videos necessarily, but anyway, I will find it interesting. No one else will.
No, I think that sounds like a really cool insight, actually. I think that's a killer idea.
And then I'm quite excited about our next week's podcast with our guest. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, the OG, right? Like kind of the original. I think this dude kind of broke the mold in terms of the way Porsche content was created and turning it into a brand. So we've got the one and only Drew Manley from Cooled Collective, formerly 911 Cooled. He's joining us to talk about his story, to talk about photography, to talk about print media. Can't wait to have Drew on the show, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. He was one of the first YouTubers that I really started to sort of follow passionately when I got my first 911 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've loved his content ever since. And I now have 7 of his prints in my garage. I just love what he puts. He's so good. I can't wait. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. Same. So, guys, make sure you tune in next week when we've got Drew from Cooled Collective. You have a good week, my friend. Hopefully you've got a car by next week. I can't wait to see that. And, guys, thank you for listening as always. Check us out on Curb and Canyon on Instagram. Check out James's channel, Auto Amateur, on YouTube, and mine, Last Rasp, on YouTube. We'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye now.